Well, the UN Oceans Conference continues, meanwhile, in the French city of Nice. And with the very ambitious summit set to close on Friday, all attention is of course, still on whether or not those present will have anything concrete to show for their lofty, ambitious declarations. Now, French Polynesia pledged to create the world's largest marine protected area to safeguard its seas, and it hopes to encourage others to pass similar measures. For now, though, there are arguably few signs of groundbreaking progress. From where we're going to cross now to our special envoy there, Antonia Kerrigan. She's been speaking to a Samoan activist. Antonia, over to you then.
Yes, that's quite right, Jeannie. So with a high ambition summit underway, I am joined by a climate activist, Brianna Fruean. Brianna, you're from Samoa, a climate vulnerable island nation. Why are conferences like this so important to you?
It's important because our ocean is feeling the impact of the climate in the same ways our islands are. So to protect our planet and our islands from sinking, we have to protect our ocean.
Okay, and the Samoans have had a huge level of ambition when it comes to marine protected areas. Tell us about Samoa's ambitions, its goals that it's already set and the commitments it's made, and how public opinion has been galvanized to support that long term.
Absolutely. So just before UNOC, our government of Samoa announced that we have 9 new marine protected areas. And so those 9 new protected areas allows us to reach the 30% goal of protected oceans. And by 2030, we actually want to make sure that 100% of our ocean is either protected or sustainably managed. And all of this is done with local communities taking the lead in how we actually need to manage our oceans.
We often hear when we talk about marine protected areas and protected areas in general, that Indigenous communities have something to offer that has historically not been listened to. The Samoan example has been trying to address that.
Absolutely. So all 52 districts were consulted with this marine spatial plan that has been just announced, as well as radio galvanized, schools galvanized to try and get everyone understanding what this plan means and also having their input into this plan. So it's one that doesn't just belong to the government, but belongs to us as Samoans.
Excellent. And another thing I'd like to ask you at a conference like this one, of course, Samoa's climate, CO2 emissions and overexploitation of the sea would be a drop in the ocean compared to the bigger players. So what is it that Samoans are looking for from the international community at an event like this one? What kinds of commitments?
Yeah, I think for the Pacific as a whole, if we see some of our Pacific islands like Samoa, like Marshall Islands, who've shown climate and ocean leadership, we look to the world to match that, to show up in the ways that our leaders have shown up, and to make sure that we can actually reach the 30 by 30 goal by 2030, because it's vital for our ecosystems on Earth.
In terms of the on-paper protection of marine protected areas that sometimes doesn't quite correlate with what's happening on the ground or out at sea, do you have faith in the kinds of announcements we've heard this week?
I've found faith at UNOC in local communities who have shown the real life examples of how they're protecting their ocean and how they're protecting the areas that they hold sacred. And so I believe that if we're able to find ourselves in a space where we are involving Indigenous communities, involving local communities that are coastal, that's where the change will happen, because the implementation at the end of the day doesn't happen at UNOC. It happens in the communities that are going to be the ones that are moving and shaking.
There's, of course, a climate justice conversation to be had. There's, of course, a matter of financing. There's, of course, a matter of polluters paying. Do you think that financially polluters have shown that they're ready to put their money where their mouth is, just very briefly?
No. There's a huge gap that needs to be closed. There's a financial gap that we need to close in order to protect the ocean that we know is critical.
Critical. Well, that's a Samoan climate activist, Brianna Fruean. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio.